Welcome back to the back nine of the Preserve Championship here in Clearwater, Minnesota. My name is Paige Pierce.
And I'm Missy Gannon.
We are at the 4th Disc Golf Pro Tour of the year. This coverage and this tournament is presented by Prodigy Disc, so thank you guys so much for making this happen. If you guys tuned into the front nine, you saw some hot scores so far and lots of birdie holes to go still. So I am at 5 under par. Sarah Hokom is at 3 under. Catrina Allen is 1 under. Jessica Weese is even. And we saw that Kona Panis was already in the clubhouse with a 5 under, and that Missy Gannon, who I'm joined with, was also at 5 under through 8 holes. So we are looking to card a few more birdies in this hot weather.
And we're going to start off on hole 10, 269-foot par 3. A really cool looking hole. I call it like the castle, hole or something because of the stone wall in front. But it's basically like an island. You have a little bit of room to play if you come up a little bit right side, but super reachable, mid-range, maybe fairway, maybe putter, right at the basket. You just can't hyzer out and air one out too far left.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I go with the putter on this one, so it doesn't get that hyzer finish. It just goes straight, and that is my fierce. A little bit too hot maybe when it hits the green. This used to be a ball golf course, but hasn't been for a while. So you can see where there used to be greens is actually kind of brown grass, which is really fast. It's a really fast green. You'll see that a few times.
Mm-hmm. Sarah just spiking one in there with her trace. She'll have a nice look at it too.
Catrina Allen with her signature edition of the PA1. I like her release to the right side of the basket on that slow hyzer. And
wow.
She is in the bullseye.
Perfect.
Beautifully thrown.
Yeah, it plays a little bit uphill, and your main goal is just to don't throw it low. Just give it some air. Jess looks like she's going with some sort of fairway driver potentially on a big spike hyzer forehand line. Spikes it right into the green. She'll be a little bit long, but she'll be looking at it too as well. Right in the heart.
Just a tiny bit low from Jessica with the KC Pro. She will tap in for par. And you guys might have seen that there's nobody else inside the circle as each of us as players are in there. That's one of the Corona policies in place, that only one person at a time can be in the circle.
Hole 11, 667-foot par 4. Not a lot of danger. There is a dirt road past those trees on the right that's OB, which is going to be pretty hard to find. Those trees are pretty thick. And then left side is also is also in play, but again, you just don't want to be on those trees. You want to throw something really straight and just find yourself in the center of the fairway to give you a nice open shot, either forehand or backhand, right to the basket on this slightly elevated basket.
This is my Surge SS here on an anhyzer line, knowing it'll hyzer out a little bit at the end.
And you're almost right at the corner, so you should be able to, attack the green pretty confidently.
Yeah, there's one tree by the basket. It's about 70 feet short of the basket, so you kind of have that choice of should I go left or right of the tree. So Hokom, actually, with the sidearm dominant player, she likes to go left of the tree, so she's going to leave herself on the left side to make that shot easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she'll definitely have a more open shot given that forehand line.
Catrina looking to get an anhyzer turn out of this, but just a little bit nose up so it doesn't get that anhyzer turn. She's going to be up on the left side.
Yeah, and you can see those low hanging branches. I think she's going to be a little obstructed.
This is Jessica's champion turn. hugging the right side and getting that late fade out into the center of the fairway. Great shot by Jess.
Mm-hmm.
Hokom going up that left side, like we said, with a nice turn on it. She is inside the circle looking at a birdie putt on another elevated basket.
Jess looking to do the same, it looks like.
Yeah, and this one is an Invictus.
Whoa.
I don't know much about this disc, but she threw it quite a few times. Looks like quite a bit of an overstable disc.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to end up short of circle 2.
Yeah, I imagine she meant to get that a little higher.
Wow, and that looked like a very tricky line from Cat. She was hoping for the skip there, but that green grass just chewed it up, stopped it short.
Yeah, I can see what you mean there by that tree. You know, you threw a nice straight disc, but that's just the one thing you had to get around.
Yep.
And probably looking for a little bit more hyzer, but
Yeah, kind of a late release there on pin high, but, you know, that's tester range, especially on an elevated basket.
yep.
Catrina puts it up under the basket, and Jess does the same with a step-out Sonic and hyzer. That was a beautifully thrown approach. Kind of smiling that one off, misses just a little bit low. Surprised that she kept that other putter in her hand. It looked a little bit different than her normal putting routine. Another one I was happy that it stuck. That one looked a little bit left, but
Yeah.
really was loving these baskets yesterday. They,
Yeah. Yeah, I had a few questionable ones that stuck. But
All right, and some easy tap-ins for par here. And now we're headed into 2 wooded holes in a row.
yeah, I really like this hole. This is sort of where we make the turn to start coming back towards, you know, the center of the course. Hole 12, it's 296 feet. It is slightly downhill. It's a par 3. Just really low ceiling, tight tunnel. I love the mix of holes out here. You know, you have those wide open holes, but then you'll come up to this hole and, you know, others just like it. You just want to throw something super straight and just have it get a little bit of skips at the end up to the basket. There is the river long. I don't see that coming into play much. It looks like you hugged the right side just a little bit, but fortunately you find yourself right inside the circle.
Yeah, the Mississippi River running right behind the basket is pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
Made me want to club down to a mid-range and just kind of go for that late fade out.
Sarah turned it over a
Yeah.
little bit. Looks like she'll find herself, there's like this retaining wall. She'll find herself above that, and we'll see what kind of look she has.
Catrina comes out a little bit high, but it's going to start losing speed right before those barrier branches on the right, and she is in a good spot. Pin high on the left. She does have that tree kind of in her way, so we'll see what she's got on the putt.
Jess, again, taking a similar line to everyone else. You kind of do have to force that right side in order to get the correct angle at the basket. So she'll be looking at a putt as well. Yeah, with Sarah being a little elevated on that retaining wall, she had to go to a knee and just throw something that'll skip a little bit low, and she did it really well.
Catrina, just inside the circle. Beautiful putt. That was one of those ones where the tree's not fully in your way, but just enough to get in your head, and she did not let that bother her one bit, right into the center of the chains.
Just a few steps inside her.
Oh.
She's been so close.
Yeah, you notice Jess has an interesting putt. She switches back and forth between a severe hyzer putt and a severe anhyzer putt, and I'm always curious to know what's going on in her head. I feel like we should ask her
I
about
wonder,
it.
like when she decides to use which putt.
Yeah, because it's not like necessarily about wind. I just wonder.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Ask her today.
Yeah.
So you just check in. I am at 8 under par. Missy Gannon is at 6 under par through 14 holes. Kona, like we said, is finished at 5 under. And yeah, this is really cool to just have UDisc on hand, knowing what everybody's doing, seeing the shot tracker even. You know, I looked at UDisc about this time and saw that you were on the fairway after 2 throws. It's just really cool to pay that much attention and have that capability.
Yeah, and hole 13 here is kind of a mix. You have wide open after an initial really tight gap. Main objective, I think a lot of us can at least get inside the circle on this hole. It is a turnover hole or maybe a forehand, but you just need to get out of the gap. It's super tight. If you hit any of those early trees and kick to the right, you're basically in jail and you're going to have to pitch out. You may even want to re-tee at that point.
Yeah, kind of similar to hole 2 in the fact that the gap itself is so quickly off the tee pad. So really just trying to pick the right disc and getting through the gap and letting the disc do the work afterwards.
Yeah, you go a little bit long.
Yeah, that was my Undertaker. I like the late flip on it. Catrina, this is one of the best discs, I think, in her bag. This is the H3 V2. Unfortunately, she doesn't get the angle she wants on it. She was a little disappointed with that release. She was throwing that a lot at the DD Open last week, and it was carding her a lot of birdies. But yeah, she will be outside circle 2 on this one, unfortunately, but keep an eye out for that orange fairway she's throwing.
Oh, just a little bit high from Sarah. I think the forehand is the play on this hole if you have a nice power forehand. Yeah, she just a little bit high out of her hand. You could see Jess doing the same thing a little early. Looks like she'll kind of fight through and not find herself too far into the woods on the right. Should be okay up and down.
Hokom now with a shock. She hit her Bushnell rangefinder and saw that it was right at 200 feet in last minute change she was looking at a mid-range and clubbed up to that fairway.
You can see those really low branches for Jess right here. She's forced to throw a little sidearm roller.
With her KC AVR,
Yeah.
She's got that shot down.
Perfect.
I'm so impressed by it. She called that one walking the dog.
Isn't that like a yo-yo term?
It is a yo-yo term. It's a funny analogy, you know, thinking about the yo-yo rolling on the ground.
Yeah.
And this is from 2 steps outside the circle.
Okay.
Tried to give it a little step putt because it was a little long, but just a tiny bit high.
Out of the woods. Yeah, she just hung that second shot a little bit too inside. There we go.
Yes, awesome par save right there. Breaking out some tricks.
Yeah. Scramble game.
I like that these baskets all have somebody's name on them or maybe a company. This one says, I think, Uptown Flooring. Kale, when this course went up, he offered basket sponsorships and apparently sold out in like 20 minutes.
Wow.
So shout out to all the people that sponsored the baskets and got this course up and running.
Hole 14, 660 feet. It's a par 4. You will find some danger on this one for sure. If you don't commit to your tee shot, there is OB all along the left side. It's really easy to do. We even had like a slight tailwind. We didn't have a lot of wind today, but we definitely had a slight tailwind on this hole, and I definitely saw that affecting some shots today. So you just want to land safely in the middle of the fairway, then pitch up to the green. There is a slope on the backside, so you don't want to push it too far. Just have something glide right up to the basket and hopefully get a birdie.
Yeah, this one is super tricky. I think this is my first or maybe second favorite hole on the course. That one just tiny bit of a grip block. Actually, quite a bit big of a grip block. Find myself in the woods on the right.
Honesty.
But it is safe. Honesty. Catrina, this is such a beautiful shot. I mean, she got a good amount of distance, but just really controlled right in the center of the fairway. Jessica going with her turn here.
Yep.
Turning over, looking good,
Come on.
but this is the danger of that right to left downhill slope with the OB on the left side. Your disc, when it starts fading out, just naturally starts to try to find that.
Yeah.
Very well designed hole, Kale.
Let's see Sarah with the backhand. I like the commitment. You do kind of have to, you know, pressure those right side trees in order to, you know, hopefully just land right in the center of the fairway. Unfortunately, that was also a bit of a grip block.
Yeah, it is the better miss, though, for sure. And that was Hokom's Vanish. That's the first time we've seen her throw that disc this round. So this is my soul, just trying to get it out of the woods, not trying to throw it hard and get a cut roll or too much air, just trying to put it in the middle.
Yeah, Sarah just forced the pitch out from that spot.
She's going with that shock, the same shot, same disc she threw on the last approach.
Great.
Much better release on this one. This one is actually a really scary basket position too. You know, you get all the way up there and then you're still sweating because the green is just pretty tricky, a severe drop off behind it, and some bunkers.
You have to fully commit to that putt. For sure, because again, it's on a hill and it could roll away if you don't quite commit.
Thank you.
Jess with a nice recovery shot after throwing OB.
Yeah, when we got down to the basket, she said, "Oh, I didn't know that the green looked like that on the back," and so I kind of wondered if she had even played a practice round.
You know, maybe she just always found herself in a good spot on the short side, and
maybe.
You know, I mean, it's a good thing to not think about drop-offs.
Yeah.
You know, she's thinking about the putt, and that's really the main objective, I guess.
Yeah, that's a huge thought of mine, though, on this approach is land short of the basket, land short. And, yeah, you guys saw my approach was a little bit too short, but, that's definitely something that weighs in my mind for sure, just to be on the short side.
Mm-hmm. Yep, clean up a par. Nice putt by Jess. Great par after going OB. All right, hole 15, 703 feet. It is a par 4. The tee shot is pretty tricky because you really want to get over this little hill here, and we're definitely slightly lower than that hill from the tee pad. Because if you land on that hill or at least on the side hill, it's super tricky, especially because the second shot is almost just as big as your tee shot. So you really need to have some good footing in order to set yourself up for a birdie look. It's definitely a long par 4 for many of us.
And this, it's not too wooded of a course, so even though this is pretty open, the initial gap is a little intimidating, especially with that upslope right there.
Because you want to try to throw it, high and get over that hill, and those branches, at least on the left side, could get in your head a little bit.
Catrina with a beautifully placed shot right in the center of the fairway, way up there. Mine just came out a little bit late and nose up, and I'm going to find the barrier tree on the right. That is going to kick me down way short of what I was intending. Oof. Jessica kind of has a completely opposite release of mine, a little late and low, but we find ourselves in a very similar position because of that hillside. Hokom again with her vanish.
Looks like great height on there. Getting that turn, gonna land right on pretty much the flat. She'll have a little bit of a downhill approach, but still a great spot.
And this is as far as I can possibly throw it. I still won't get to the basket, and there's no OB, so I'm just trying to rip it as hard as possible, and maybe I can get myself a chance to throw it in. Jessica opts for the sidearm from here. This is her Wraith.
Yeah, super tricky shot, trying to get over the hill and then still get as much distance as you can, but she'll find herself right in the middle.
Hokom falling back on that backhand again. You can tell she's been putting in some work on it. She got a good amount of distance on that, came out a little bit late, but she's almost to pin high, just well right of the basket. And Catrina now with that X3. Beautiful wide hyzer that just fades out at the end. She is pin high on the right side inside the circle.
A little bit low from Jess, but she got some great skips right up to the basket.
This one I was between trying to chip it up there with a sidearm or just jump put it under the basket. Those branches were kind of low, so there was no way I was really running it. Hokom now with her Envy.
Nice chip shot.
Cat for the birdie attempt with her PA1. Oh, just a tiny bit low. That downhill look adds an extra element of difficulty when they're low or high.
Nice par from Jess. Yeah, this is definitely one of those good birdies if you can get it. I believe, I think the whole field got pars or worse on this hole.
Really? No birdies?
No birdies.
All right. You guys make sure to tune in to round 2 and see if we can change that.
Yeah. Leaderboard check-in. We got Paige and Missy, myself, sitting at 8 under with just a few holes to play. Kona not far behind. And again, just sort of still trying to get those birdies. You know, Sarah's right there, trying to capitalize as well. So we'll see what we can do on hole 16. It's 378 feet. It's a par 3. Pretty wide open, not too much danger. There is the pond well over on the right side, which probably won't come into play much. But other than that, you just want to throw a huge shot to this mound green, which is also just another element of difficulty, with a couple of guardian trees right around the basket. So if you can land a drive right around those last couple of trees, you're going to be inside the circle for a birdie look. But 378 feet is quite a pump for most of the field, so we'll see how everybody fares.
Kat going with that X3 again. It's a little bit high and early, and she's going to find herself Circle 2's edge on the short side. We actually joked about it that, or not really, yeah, we were kind of joking, but we were just talking about that we were going a little bit deep in practice, and so she clubbed down to an X3. She was throwing her D2 and going deep. And this one's my Undertaker. Pretty similar spot to Catrina, just outside Circle 2. A little bit disappointing there because this is a hole that I think both Kat and I know that we can reach.
Yeah. Yeah, you and Kat are both players that I imagine would have a slight advantage on a hole like this, just because 378 is pushing the distance range for a lot of the field. So.
Yeah, Jessica finds herself a little bit short as well, and Hokom opts for the backhand. I know that she was talking about this hole specifically, that it's kind of a little bit far for the women, but, you know, I beg to differ, especially when you see her throwing a backhand that she's not really used to throwing, and she's pin high right.
Yeah, I think it's a great distance. I think a lot of us can get there. We just have to trust our distance and our discs and just pump one out there.
That was actually more difficult of an approach than I thought from my perspective during the round. So shout out to GK for that good footage there. She had to throw a really weird hyzer angle into the green and hits the branches, drops short, but she converts on that tester from about 22 feet. And then I guess this is when the joking started between Kat and I, just that, you know, man, we got to get it there tomorrow.
Yeah.
We got to get this putt. And I think this basket placed on the back side of the mound is a really good spot too, because that drop off behind it challenges your putt.
Hole 17, we come up to another tight little wooded hole. I really love this shot, especially after coming off of some of the bigger wide open holes. It's just 269 feet. It's a par 3. You just have to throw something super straight and just trust whatever disc you're going to throw. I think we're going to see some putters. That looks like a PA1 from Kat. And just pipe one straight up the middle.
Yeah, this hole actually transports me to Fox Run hole 2.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've had a lot of big moments there, and just cool to stare down this tree-lined fairway.
Yeah, and I really like the elevated basket on a hole like this. Okay, got a little lucky there.
That's the one I was talking to you about. Yeah, did not deserve that kick, but I will take it. You know, we talk about luck a lot in disc golf. It's something that comes and goes, you know, good luck and bad luck. It just happens. And you and I talk about it a lot, that those are the coolest shots to try to convert on. You know, when you get a lucky kick like that, you have this pressure that, oh, I got to capitalize on that luck.
Yep. Sarah hitting a little bit of the late trees there, but she has a great chip shot up to the basket.
Sarah talking to me about that disc. That's her envy again. She's, well, I don't know if it's secret or not, but she's really excited about that disc. We'll just leave it at that. Catrina with a good approach. She finds herself on the backside, which is actually, I think, a good spot, because you're putting away from the water. That water is very close behind the basket.
Nice. Way to capitalize, like we were just saying, taking advantage of that little bit of luck that you had.
Catrina with a straddle stance. Beautiful putt. Her stroke looks good today. I know she's missed a couple, but she's hitting a lot of long putts. She's hitting them in the center. And I think, you know, when she's getting that grip, control of her grip, I think she's putted really well today.
Yeah, and at this point it's like 7:30, so it's starting to cool off a little bit. It's definitely feeling a little bit nicer, so maybe that had something to do with it as well. Hole 18, our final hole. It's a par 5 again, 930 feet. This is a super cool hole. The tee shots, you're carrying water. You're gonna have to decide how much you want to bite off, and you know, you can lay up a little safer short. And then right before you go over the water, most of us are going to have to pitch up before the water and then go over, but some of us will not. You could potentially get the eagle on this hole, but you just don't want to find yourself in the bunker if you do have to lay up short, because that is some tough footing.
Yeah, it is. So I am thinking about hoping to try for the eagle, so I'm trying to bite off as much distance as I can on the drive. That's my Surge SS. I know I can trust it for that. slow, stable finish.
Yeah, that was a pump.
Catrina now between her X3 and this blue one. I'm so sorry. I do not know what this is, but I will find out for round 2. This is a disc she throws so well and really relied on it at the GBO, or I'm so sorry, the DD Open last week. Finds herself in good position right in the center of the fairway.
Mm-hmm. Just looking to go big, it looks like. Lining up that Anheuser flex line.
Yeah, she likes Jessica likes the really severe angles on her shots. You don't really see her throw flat that often, so she's going for distance. It's definitely on a severe Anheuser.
I was curious if Sarah was going to go backhand or forehand on this hole, but she obviously has super power on her forehand, so it definitely makes sense. It's just a little scary because it will fade back towards the water.
Yeah, and halfway through the flight, she said, "Get there!" And she said that was her favorite dish. She really wished she had it on this drop zone shot here. But she is just laying up. There's not really any way to get over the water from way back here, so she's going to lay one into the fairway and reassess from there. Catrina also opts to lay up. She throws it onto the green, and like we talked about earlier, those old ball golf greens are really fast, so it gets an unfortunate skip into that bunker that you talked about.
Yeah, especially because if you're doing the layup play and then you have a pond on your third shot to cross, it's not that close. I mean, it's still kind of a ways away, and you have to definitely put some power on that third shot.
You really do. And Jessica, almost an identical shot to Catrina. They're both in that bunker, so you guys are going to get your first look at what this hazard looks like. There are no strokes added, but it's a natural hazard.
Yeah, definitely.
And I found myself in far enough position that I went for this second shot over the water. It was a little bit nose up, so I thought I was going to be out of bounds, but the guys from GK Pro said that it was in bounds. And there is Robin,
Good
Hokom's
old caddy. Nice.
Got in the water for Sarah's disc. She said she was going to throw it on the shot, but look, she didn't even throw it. Beautiful shot. She finds herself in the bunker just inside the just outside the circle.
Yeah.
Jess is opting for a standstill sidearm turnover.
Gets it on the green at least. You know, she's a little bit outside the circle, but at least she won't have that bunker footing to deal with.
Yep. And Kat is actually going to run up in the bunker.
No. That is so tough to do. But she almost had to, you know.
Yeah.
It's again like it's not that close of a shot. You kind of have to put some power on it, and yeah, it's just unfortunate that she was in the bunker.
Yeah, great shot, including the fall.
Yep.
And this is my third. Pretty impossible to hit it from there, so just kind of putting it up on the green.
All right, quite a ways away. This is about 40, 45 feet.
And again, a big connection from Kat, and that is to card a birdie to finish out the round with her PA1. Beautiful putt.
Yeah.
Right in the center. And, you know, having the first putt of the card is going to set some pressure for the other two ladies.
Yeah, for sure. Just barely outside the circle. Looking straight into the sun. Nice.
That severe Anheuser finds the low right side and sticks. You see a little fist bump from her. Stoked to hit the putt after Catrina's putt. You know, it's you guys have probably heard of big putt. And when the first person on your card jams a big one, it kind of puts some pressure on you.
Definitely. Yeah, this was super cool. I was sitting out, waiting to stand by, seeing, how this all finishes out. And there was, quite a few spectators still out there. Again, this is like 7:30 at night, and so to hear those roars on the green was really cool.
Yeah, 3 huge putts. And what a round, you know? know, some big scores out there. I shot 10 under par, Catrina Allen 5 under, Hokom 2, and Jessica Weese 1 under. So we saw that Kona finished at 5 under and you finished at 8 under. So that is going to make up our card for round 2. Make sure you guys subscribe and see what happens on round 2. The temperature is going to be pretty similar.
Yep.
So conditions are the same, but you know, now we have 1 round under our belt, so we'll see what can happen on round 2. Thanks guys for tuning in, and shout out to Prodigy and GK Pro.